Welcome to my very first settlement tour. Today I'm going to be walking you through my builds for Red Rocket, which I have dubbed Red Rocket Outpost, and the Sanctuary Settlement. I am using the mod Simple Green. I find it is very aesthetically pleasing. So Red Rocket Outpost, as I've named it, is 100% secure and very armed. When I am done with building both of these settlements, it will only have maybe 5 or 6 settlers, and currently the only way in is through fast travel or object settlement creator mode. For now, I have all of my named NPCs, my followers, Kate, Codsworth, Dogmeat. I have all of them manning the outpost until Sanctuary is finished to get maximum settler count in Sanctuary. With, like most of my other builds, the only way in and out is through an electric door that cannot be circumnavigated in the game without cheats or settlement creator mode or somebody opening the door from the other side. Upstairs I have a very simple bunkhouse, a slight living space, very simple. Thanks to USO, I have these dressers and the Minutemen rolls and hats on top. I do plan to fully decorate this later, maybe implement a bar, but for now it's just a very basic living space for the people operating Red Rocket Outpost, which will serve technically as sort of like a barrier for Sanctuary against raider attacks. And the farm is very small, simple. There wasn't a whole lot of room for it, so that's one of the main reasons I have to keep the number of soldiers stationed here or at a minimum. You'll notice that I don't really take the time to decorate with junk like some other settler or settlement creator players do. I find it very tedious and boring. That's something better left to the imagination. If I was gonna seriously start doing this, I would probably take the time to decorate with junk, but for now, just any junk that happens to be left over when I'm done building is good enough for me. So, that is Red Rocket Outpost. It is really the secondary settlement. I sort of consider an extension of Sanctuary because it's so small and so close. And again, the only way in and out of here without settlement creator mode or cheats is to open or close that door from the inside. And just a short run up the hill here, and we make it to Sanctuary, which hopefully it'll buffer soon. Okay, so I left these houses really demolished and scrappy, and I haven't cleaned up these roads, even though I can. I have the delete skeletons and dirt mounds and grass mod, things that will help me clean up my settlements. I have really tried not to touch these so that it doesn't look unnaturally barren. It sort of looks like something you would see outside of a post-apocalyptic settlement, picked clean of anything of any real value, but, you know, just some junk laying around that people didn't even bother to pick up. The front door, which I usually leave closed, is one big roller garage door, which is operated from up on the fence. This is, yes, I have labeled it in this this make. I call it Fort Hill. So you have Sanctuary out here and Fort Hill, which I thought was pretty clever. But once I'm at maximum settler capacity, there will be someone stationed at that guard post, so that settlers can't just walk up in here and grab the weapons that I have provided. One suit of Minuteman armor, which I have yet to fully upgrade, but will be fully upgraded for full defensive value. The artillery is up here. I have Mama Murphy manning it because she can still walk around and isn't standing at the post right here 24 hours a day. So she can still wander around. Sheffield is technically the head of the guard, which I have kept mostly centralized to standing on this fort. This fort is the only thing powered outside of the central electric system I've built. It's powered by this windmill, mostly because I enjoy the aesthetic of the windmill and sort of the separation of the power grids, so that this fort is entirely independent of the city for its power. And like with most of my other walls, I have lined it almost entirely with machine gun turrets, just the simple, no electricity required, upgraded turrets that stand on their own. Outside of that, I have the entire city walled in. There are no holes, no like low parts of the wall where you could conceivably jump over without climbing. This is the hunter's house. If I had to assign it a role, I put the hunting and gathering tool out here, so this person gathers food. It would make sense that if they had to leave the compound to go hunting, that their house would be much more convenient to be right next to the gate. This is my player home, probably one of the only ones I've bothered to decorate at all. I have given myself all of the crafting tools. Weapons workbench. There's an armor workbench out here, out on my porch. Of course, the doghouse for when I put dog meat here. Armor workbench here. And give myself a little grill, which, thanks to USO, is also a fully functioning crafting station. USO has allowed me to do some really cool things. I've left Sean's room mostly the same for sentimental value, but I did wall this off completely so that it looks rather nice and not patchy. And I'll get to this bookcase in a second. Of course, here's my room. Vault suit there, Minuteman general outfit, sort of setting it up with the theme of my character and the storylines that I've played through. USO has a moving bookcase, which I used to place in here, so that this is sort of hidden. The basement here is part of another mod that's called Prepper Immersion Roleplay, something like that, but where your character is essentially a doomsday prepper beforehand, before the bombs fall. And so when you find your way back to your house, you can go into your basement and you have access to all that equipment, which it makes the start of the game a lot easier than it should be, but it is also kind of nice to have some weapons when you're just doing a quick, another playthrough, starting up another character to do some more settlement builds. Across the street here is the farmhouse. I do plan to eventually set up some sort of shop here, but I'm not sure what. There's Mama Murphy doing her rounds, even though she's assigned to the artillery. Decorated it with several bedrooms, and I've tried to put at least one bathroom in every building in the city, because that is pretty essential. I try to make my settlements reasonably survivable, like an actual feasible settlement. Over here is the farm that is connected to the farmhouse. A little bit of lag there. Again, these planters unlocked by Unlocked Settlement Objects mod are invaluable. They make everything look so much more organized. Alright, so crossing back over the road again, which, by the way, this is my power system. I've run power lines from a central power plant back in the very back of the settlement, all the way throughout the settlement with these lamp posts, and it looks very natural. And then from each, for each building, I run one line from the central line out to emitters over the top of the building and any other link-ups that I need to make, so that it allows me to create very natural lighting without too many extra wires hanging down in the way. The next building over, I was able to recruit Anne Hargraves, and I gave her a clothing shop, of course, so that she can have her level 4 merchant status. And I was able to set up the armor racks to display some of the clothing that she feasibly would have for sale. That's one really interesting use for these porches that I've had, or I guess garages. They make very good stalls. In another one of my builds, I had a clinic set up that was just in the garage here. And I considered it for this build, but I wanted to make the clinic a lot more impressive, so I made the entire building into the clinic this time, so it's more of a hospital than a clinic. This is going to be the general store of sorts, so you're going to have the weapons dealer, armor, general store, and then the shop keeps living quarters in here. I have yet to decide what I'm going to do with this. I might do another living space, but this is basically going to be the marketplace, this building here, between the shops inside and Anne Hargraves over here in the garage. This is one thing that I've had in just about every incarnation of this build, is the Minuteman Inn. And downstairs is the bar, with pretty much all of the amenities I could get in the game. Nuka-Cola arcade games, the slot machines. I gave them token machines so that they could play the games, but I have never actually bothered with the prize center where you can redeem the tokens for prizes. I do have the soda machine manned because they seem to enjoy that. A well-dressed bartender. And then upstairs, as you would expect of any inn, there's a little bunkhouse where visitors or really any of the poorer residents would be able to reside and sleep and spend the night. And now this over here is the inner sanctum of the city. It's sort of the beating heart of Sanctuary, I suppose. The more necessary things like the factory, the power plant, and the hospital are all double walled. So the wall runs all the way around, and then this wall further separates this section of the city from the other section. So the farm is on the other side of this wall here. So that the inn and some of the shops are accessible to guests without them having access to all of the more delicate and higher priority systems, like the the factory, the power plant, and the hospital. So for the hospital, I really wanted to go all out because, like I said, my last one was more like a clinic stall.
Not interested.
And it was very underwhelming, if a little neat, but there were just so many decorations and functions to put in such a small space that it became very cluttered very quickly, and it didn't seem feasible for them to be housing sickly people. So I really wanted to expand and try to make use of this entire building, and I was able to do it, and it still looks pretty reasonable. The biggest complaint I probably have is the mixture of the surgery chair with the 4-opter in this tiny little room. So I might end up moving this surgery chair into this room and removing the bed. But I do enjoy from the Vault Tech workshop, all of these little Vault Tech posters make very nice decorations for the hospital. And a lot of them are pretty relevant to health and general hospitalness. Moving on down the line is one thing that I have never tried before, but in this incarnation I have loved it. I used the Contraptions Workshop DLC products to create one forge of every kind. And so if they were to conceivably be trapped inside the city by a siege, they would not run out of ammo, weapons, etc. And all of these are also on a master switch, which is connected to this PC, which as soon as I can figure out how to put it on a closed system, I will. I may end up having to give it its own power source, because if I accidentally turn off all switches here or turn on all switches, it can open and close the gates to the front of the compound and everything. Just open up the wall for anyone to come walking through. This is my power plant. Originally I had wanted to make something more along the lines of the fusion generator, but I was not a high enough level at the time to get Science 4, and this was completely ready to build the second I completed the Vault Tech DLC. So I ended up going with one of these, and therefore to get it to fit more naturally with its surrounding pieces, I had to build the power plant in the Vault Tech style, which sort of looks alright, if I'm being honest, but I wish I had a way to close off this ceiling, because the Vault Tech pieces are very difficult to work with. They only like to click together a certain way, and I'm using them in a way I don't think they were meant for. But I do like the sliding doors. Those are pretty cool. The last building is sort of undecided as of yet. I haven't really allocated it to a purpose. I might make it living quarters or some sort of town hall maybe later, but for now it's kind of undedicated. We do have a nice little backyardy area over here, and I was able to thankfully delete the rusty, worn down park equipment that was here and put in some slightly better toys for, children. This would be like a park where they come to play and relax. So that, I feel, is this is a pretty natural looking space for like a park. So yeah, that's my my sanctuary settlement build. This is probably my favorite one of the settlement builds that I've made, even of other sanctuaries. Sanctuary is my favorite place to build, but this is definitely my favorite of the ones that I have made in Sanctuary. It feels very natural, feels very feasible, and it doesn't have any holes in the walls. I've had a lot of trouble with the hills, but I've been learning how to use the concrete over time, and the walls are becoming more and more stable and look like they're actually solid instead of just jagged pieces sort of put next to each other to block access. So stay tuned, and I'll try to do some more of these some other time. Have fun, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, bye.